Have you ever noticed when you're confused about something, you can't get it out of your mind? And if you can't figure it out, it can paralyze the rest of your day's activities? If we haven't met, my name is Cinnamon Love, and I'm the founder of Stratosphere Empowered Wellbeing. And in this video, I'm going to share a brief story about unresolved emotional crisis or confusion and what finding the clarity or the truth can do for you. So first, I'm going to define what is unresolved emotional crisis exactly for me. So unresolved is because there's confusion. Emotions is like feelings or thought process, everything. And then crisis for me is a little bit tied in with pain. There's some kind of pain because of it, and this is what is generating the crisis. Now the pain is tied to the emotions and the feelings that either are having two things not happen. There's no outlet and no support. And the support can be in form of comfort or getting advice or educating, reading something about it. So I'm not getting the support, I'm not getting the outlet, and so I'm kind of wallowing and drowning in the pain. I don't know if that has been a similar case for you, but you know what it's like for sure to feel like there is no explainable answer for me right now with all the knowledge we have and the resources that we feel are safe to engage with. We are not getting the emotion resolved. Like even the mind is not able to rationalize it out, right? So it stops being a crisis when the pain is removed. And I think the pain kind of leaves because over time, you just kind of become numb to the emotions because you're so long dealing in them that then it just becomes an unresolved emotion. It's no longer an unresolved emotional crisis. And because it's not a crisis and I'm not in pain, I'm able to put it in the back drawer or put it in the dungeon, hide it away, right? So I share the definition with you because I believe I didn't identify in the past that I was actually living a crisis or a survival of the emotional crisis. I never asked myself, like, why did this happen? Or even better, why did I allow this to happen? Or even better, why did I need this to happen? Like some introspection there. So the story is I was around 20 years old and I really liked this guy in the gym that I was going to. So after a while, we started going out and dating, and it was kind of to a point where we would see ourselves almost every day. And I knew he had an ex-girlfriend because quite a bit of the conversation sometimes was about past relationships and what we had gone through. And one day I was walking in the city and I saw him in the car with what I thought was her, like they were driving together. And so I asked him about it, and he didn't deny it. He said, yes, it was her, but she had just picked him up to go talking, and, they were still friends, and they wanted to communicate. And for some reason, this just didn't sit well with me at all. I could have taken it from there and said, you know what, deal with your own, I could have let it go, but I was emotionally unable to see beyond the confusion. And the confusion kept me engaged with the person. And then it happened again with the same person. And then I was really thrown off because I was still involved. And there's a whole other sidebar where I can explain how emotional confusion likes to embed itself in other confusions. So that way it can stay safe and attach itself to your identity of that. You're like a person that now identifies with unresolved emotional conflict. So now that I analyze, I'm like, oh, I had some of that going on, but let me see here. So when I derail, then I'm like, where was I in the story? So instead of letting the whole thing go, I was fixed on why would someone do that? Why would someone be with someone and then also be with me? And this just went on and on in my mind, I remember, and it paralyzed me to the point where I didn't want to go to the gym anymore because the interaction with him was now awkward. I didn't know if I should confront him or say something. Like the whole time I was in tension. I didn't even want to go to the street where I had seen them that time for fear that I would run into them again. Like the whole zone had become on danger zone, right, for me, because of the truth was actually a hard truth that I didn't want to affront, that later came out in a movie that I identified with. The movie's name was exactly the truth of it. He's just not that into you. I don't know if you remember that movie. But there are some hard truths. Now, in this situation, I had no system to detangle my emotions. It was just a process of time. And back then, there was the old saying, right, of one nail will just hammer out the other nail, and I'll just get over it with the next thing that arises, which doesn't really resolve the unresolved emotional, like why was I so affected by this, and what part of me did I need to work on so that I could see this more clearly the next time. Because, so one of the gifts to you in the video is, even though it seems we've passed beyond it or we've become numb to that, if I didn't actually do a mental process where I felt it release from my body, then it's more than likely to appear somewhere else. Like, how many of you have revisited the same issue and said, but I thought I dealt with that, right? I thought I was done with that. What happened there? Why am I here again with another person? Sometimes they say that we're just like trading out the faces of the lessons we need to learn, but it's the same thing behind the scenes. So if you felt this paralyzing effect, that without clarity, you would stay stuck. Without clarity, we cannot make decisions. Like I was like, should I leave him? Should I say something? Should I not? Without clarity, I procrastinated everything. I kind of like let the thing resolve itself so that made me feel powerless because I didn't really make a choice. That's when I started to get serious about therapy, EFT training, nonviolent communication training. I read a ton of books about studies of the functions of the mind, like how my thoughts are creating my emotions, like what thoughts am I letting in, what emotions, what are the words that my emotions invoke, what is the vibration, what is the frequency there. Like, I went in to study this, and putting all these things together, I devised this 7-step little procedure, little system that I run things through when I feel that I'm starting to spiral, especially in relation now that I live with my daughter, obviously, but I live with someone that I have a relationship that continually will be tested up against all of the past unresolved emotional crises that I had, that I feel like, why does it affect me this way if my daughter says this? So it's been a super helpful learning experience to see, oh, this is a trigger happening, and I run it through my 7-step filter, and I realize, the truth for me is this, and this allows me to take the appropriate action. And it's never the same. It's like every unique situation triggers a different, I don't know if triggers so much, it activates learning opportunity and growth for us, right, inside. So I wanted to invite you to a workshop that I'm going to have on June 11th at 5:30 p.m. here at the Stratosphere Home Studio. And it's a free Simplicity Masterclass on these 2 truths that we're going to see through the 7 steps. So we're going to practice and workshop the 7 steps to detangle the tangled. And if you want to RSVP, I'll leave you the link in the description. And I can't wait to see you there and see how the truth can empower us to make game-changing decisions. All right, bye-bye.